different. Yeah?
Yeah.
They were counting in English.
We can do past everyone together. For example, I have 7 fingers. He has 9 fingers. Okay. We have to improve together. We have to pass everyone.
Okay, could be an idea, but is that maths? You want them to think of maths.
Multiply.
Multiply. How long is your finger? Huh? How long is your finger and how long is the desk? Look, you can try it out. I have 5 of these. Eight.
6.5.
Okay. Now you are all doing this in Laotian, huh? Not in English, of course. You as a teacher would say, English only please, because you're using lots of numbers. Numbers otherwise are very boring to teach, huh? But like this it gets interesting, doesn't it? You can do lots of lengths. You can measure your hand. You can do a hand. How many hands is it? How many arms is it? Okay, and then you have fingers. We have X fingers. This is how many fingers it is long, times the centimeter, equals length of desk. And if you do this with the numbers in English, this is what I meant by interacting with the language, doing something with the language. They're concentrated on the numbers, and now they have to speak in English, but they're doing something that's interesting. They want to know, well, gee, how's this going to work out? Because if you say, well, measure your desk, that's boring. But how many fingers long is your desk? How many hands long is your desk? How many, I don't know, you can measure use your body parts and the maths, and you have an interesting, active lesson. Even if you have lots of kids and it's loud, they can do it together and speak English together. So that's one of the things that I think about, how to develop a lesson. Or body parts and sports. So, for example, I would teach the children how to count their pulse. And everyone would write down how many times their heart beats in a minute. They would work together. One counts the time and the other one counts the pulse. And then they change. And then I would say, everyone stand up and walk around the room. Okay? Everyone walk around the room. No, we're not going to do that. And everyone walks around the room and they sit down and they do it again. And then I say, okay, now everyone, hop around the room and see what happens. So even without having to go outside, you can do something where it's active and they're counting and they're using their body and you're integrating other aspects of knowledge. So they know what a pulse is. They know how to count their pulse. They know that when they do something active, their pulse gets stronger, gets faster. So that's what I think about when I develop activities or tasks. Something meaningful, that they're using the language in a meaningful way and they're learning something. They're using their thinking skills. And to do this, one important part is to think about, well, what do I expect? What do I think the outcome is going to be? what do I know about it before I begin to learn something about it. Okay, so we're going to do another topic, and this is one that is in 5th grade. I'll just show you here really quickly, so you know where it is. Living Planet, I saw some of you, Pew, you were looking at this, I think, and Pat, you were looking at this, I believe, huh? This is about volcanoes. And taking this idea, I'm going to show you something else, okay? And you're going to be very active. And here in the activity book, you also have things, an experiment. This, I don't know how practical this is for your classroom setting, but still I think you'll get some ideas from it. Okay, let me start again really quickly. So, my first question, who has been on a volcano? Have any of you been on a volcano? No.
We have never.
Are there volcanoes in Laos?
No.
There are none, are there? But there are some nearby. In Vietnam?
No, maybe.
Yeah. I did my research, yes. There are some, you have some nearby, actually. Okay, so when I think, again, I'm going to try to take you through this as a course designer and as a teacher. Okay, so you're going to be looking at it from 2 different points of view. One is the pupils, and one is the teacher or the teacher trainer. So, if we have the topic volcanoes, or any topic, we have to think about, what are the learning aims? I mean, those are, it's obvious, those are always in focus. What are the learning aims? And here, with Young World, we're looking at different learning aims. One is content, and the content comes first. Okay, so content obviously is going to be volcanoes. And then, based on the content, we have the vocabulary, and we have the structures needed, so the grammar. And you can imagine that the vocabulary is going to be vocabulary of volcanoes. Pretty obvious. And we'll look at the structures afterwards, but any ideas what the structure of volcanoes could be? The language of volcanoes. What kind of structures or grammar we could be looking at? Any possibilities, anything that you would focus on if you have the topic of volcanoes?
I think it would be passive voice.
Okay, it could be passive voice.
And past tense, because it's not happening every day.
Okay, if you focus on past eruptions, yes. Okay, I'll show you what we're going to focus on. So, first of all, how do you get the vocabulary? I, as a teacher, okay, this is without the materials, because to learn vocabulary, I want, as a teacher, to interact with my pupils. I start with a story, because stories are very strong. So, this is a volcano, okay? Where I'm from, in Washington, the state of Washington in the United States, we have several volcanoes. And one very, very important one is Mount St. Helens. Okay? But we have other ones as well. So, volcanoes can look like mountains. They look like mountains, but they have inside, where you don't see them, they have there are different names for this. They have a pipe or a concrete. Pipe or concrete. And this leads to this big magma chamber at the bottom. So in here, there's magma flowing and bubbling and whatever it does. But sometimes gases build. Gases start building, and the magma is pushed up the conduit or the pipe. Now in the mountain, there might also be little cracks. Okay, there might be little cracks in the mountain. So, the lava, the gases build, and pressure builds. Okay, I could talk about a past eruption. Here I'm using the present simple to talk about in general. Could be completely different. So pressure builds, magma rises, and finally the pressure is so strong that there's an explosion, a big bang. This rocks fly into the air. Okay, so they go flying. The whole top flies off. There is a cloud of ash. So these are rocks and boulders, big rocks. And this is a cloud of ash. It goes rising into the air. And along the lava, because it was pushing up so far, it goes flying. And you have the most dangerous of all, lava bombs. They go flying. And then, so rocks fly into the air, lava bombs fly into the air, and then finally the way is free and lava flows down the volcano. Okay. So I've described more or less the process. And then I can tell my class about my own experience, because I experienced Mount St. Helens, and there was ash everywhere. And my teacher was on the other side of the mountain, so there was no school. So I can make it into a story. But this is, here we're building up vocabulary. Oh, sorry. There. And we come to the learning aims. So we're looking at the process of an eruption. What happens when a volcano erupts? And so, as we know, volcano vocabulary and sequencing structures. What happens first, and then, and then, and then? How do you order the sequences that happened? Okay, this is the focus that I've put on it. And it's always a matter of setting priorities and making decisions. So we have the process, the general process, and then this was my description. You have different things, the crater, I didn't label, you have the crater, etc. And you can add more and more information onto the picture as you draw it. Okay? Now you've introduced vocabulary. Now you want to practice, want kids to be able to practice it. So,